Welcome to BARI Banter, where we talk everything bariatric surgery with the people that know it best, the patients. I'm Shannon, and I'm here with my co-hostess with the mostest,
Lita. So sit back, relax, and remember, sip, sip, sip. So Shan, you just jumped out of another aeroplane.
Another aeroplane? Yeah.
Skydive number 3.
Number 3, I know. And I feel like I can talk about it now, but I was like a little bit skeptical about talking about it in the before.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to incriminate myself. So,
why is that?
Because I was obviously jumping out of a plane with my ex-wife, who is now a very good friend of mine. But we kind of made little banter about, make sure I don't cut your chute, and I was like, is this a bad idea? Is this a bad idea to jump out of a plane?
Especially because all of your documents haven't been finalized
No, we're
yet.
still technically married. And, she's still like, would get everything if something happened to me. So I made sure to position her to my right when I got in the plane. But no,
Did she jump before you?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, so
yeah.
you were the one cutting her chute.
Yeah, I had mum behind her, so I was like, Mum.
Have my back.
That's terrible. No, we actually had an amazing time. It was one of my best. I reckon it was the best jump I've had. Just purely because it was an amazing day. There was 5 of us. It was a vibe. There was the nervous one.
Wasn't there 6 of you?
6 of us.
Yeah, there was 6 of you.
Yeah, 6 of us.
Because it was Vivka's 40th birthday. So happy birthday, Vivka.
Yeah, happy birthday. No, but yeah, it was incredible. And I said I want to do it more often because it reminds me I'm alive.
Yeah.
And it's a really funny comment to make, but something about like that adrenaline rush just reminds you that you're alive. This is life. We're living life, and it's incredible.
See, I would happily do it again if I had I'm spewing that I missed Vivka's jump, but I wouldn't just be like, hey, it's a Thursday. Do you want to go jump out of a plane?
I don't know. It sounds kind of cool. Yeah, because apparently if I do my solo, I can jump for $45.
So Shannon's going to be starting a new business, which is kind of like, goal jumps. Let's do it.
I said that. I'd love to do my, so I can jump with people, and then as an NSV.
Non-scale victories.
Come up to the Sunshine Coast and I'll
strap yourself to Shannon's back. No, you're strapped to their back.
That would be the worst. I'd make so many bad jokes. People would hate it.
You'd be like, oh shit, I forgot to tie up that buckle. Oh well, jumping.
That buckle's getting rusty. I should really replace that. But anyway, let's
enough
introduce
about
our
you.
guest.
Yeah. So our guest tonight is another newbie on the block, sleeved just a few short months ago in July 2020 to be exact. Tipping the scales at 154.8 kgs on operating day, though her heaviest known weight is unknown as she jumped on the scales and it showed an error sign. We can now say that there's been no errors in her way as she's dropped close to 45 kilos in the last 4 months. Please welcome tonight's guest, Sarah, also known as Seeinglessofsarah on the gram.
Welcome, lovely. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
And I'm going to tread very lightly with you. One, because you seem like you know how to handle a gun. So I feel like...
And I do.
You definitely do. I love the little updates you do with like your vest and being able to close your vest up and stuff like that. It's a great aspect, I feel.
That, I think, has honestly been, like, for me, the photos has been one of the major things in my whole journey. And being able to look back on that photos when I first got that vest, like my husband gave that to me for Christmas in 2016. It was 2015. And when I tried it on at the start of 2016, there was a gap of that much. I couldn't even get it close. And now I'm having to use the Velcro tabs to make it tighter because when I put shells in my pocket, it's heavy and it draws on my neck and it blows my mind. Like things like that just are crazy.
It's good. It's good that you appreciate that because they're the little victories that will get you motivated to move forward. The other thing as well, like yes, your vest fits, but there's something else that fits you much better as well, and that's your smile. I must say, the more I looked at your photos, the bigger, like your face is shrinking, but your smile is getting massive. Like massive.
I don't know how that works. Somehow my eyes and my smile are getting bigger. It's I think it must have been hiding in my chin.
Nah, it happens to all of us. Yeah, it was down there somewhere. In the past, why did you feel weight has been such a struggle for you?
Weight has been a struggle for me my whole life. I have never known the feeling of being a normal size, and my parents, they looked into whether it was a medical thing. I've been dieting since I was 10 and I'm now 32. So it's more than 2/3 of my life. And I've never been a normal weight. We don't know why. I've tried everything under the sun. And I just can't wait to get that feeling where I walk into a room and I'm not the biggest person there and that people aren't noticing me because of my size. They're noticing me because of me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well,
totally.
but that's really hard though, because like I noticed you because of you, and I've said this like before we were chatting, and I just said like you are such a bundle of joy, and like I literally just want to hug you like anytime I see you on my feed. So like I can completely relate to where you're coming from, because I felt exactly the same. But like it still blows my mind that people feel that way, even though they're in their current bodies. Like,
I think for me as well, I'm definitely not going to miss the fear of being out in public and having kids look at me and wonder if they're going to say something, because obviously, you know, kids are the truth tellers, and I could count so many times where I've been out and, you know, you get the little kid go to their mum, why is that lady so big? Or is that lady having a baby?
Oh, Jesus.
And there's a child that I used to babysit quite a bit, and he has known me since infancy, and he would still, every time that I go there, say, why are you so big? And I feel that it's just, you know, I can't wait to go out it's a supermarket and see a kid look at me and think that they're looking at me because I have bright red hair and not because I'm this big lady, you know?
and because you wear amazing earrings like the ones that you're wearing tonight.
So you just really want to avoid those awkward situations. And I totally understand that. Like the amount of awkward situations I had where someone made a comment that you're just like, how do I respond to that? I'm deeply offended, but how do I respond?
Talking about kids though, like I remember I had probably I was like under 100 kilos, and I was feeling good about myself for the first time in so long. And it was Christmas probably 2 years ago when my nieces came up to visit. And I was wearing a bikini and we all went into the pool together. And Charlie, bless her little cotton socks, she goes to me, why do you have tiger stripes on your belly? And I was like, oh, like I know she didn't mean anything by it, but I was like, you still like, damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because like I wasn't where I'm at now, but I was like, yes, I can wear a bikini. And this little 4-year-old kid goes, why have you got tiger stripes? And I was like, you know what?
Tigers are cool though.
Truth telling.
They are really cool. And I always, look, I try to embrace my tiger stripes. I always call, like I have had stretch marks my whole life. So I call them my scars of growth, because yeah, my body might have grown, but so has my mindset and my attitude and my maturity. So I try to look at them with love, because if I don't, it's been a very long time since I haven't looked at them with love, because I've had them for so long. Like
I
they
love
are
that.
just as much a part of me as my freckles are, you know?
Yeah. So as much as age aligns on a tree, stretch marks and the scars we have, and the you know, the things that aren't socially accepted as looked at as disformities, are just signs of our life.
But also, like, pregnant ladies get stretch marks, and that's not frowned upon. Like, stretch marks should be a beautiful thing. Like, it is 100%. It is growth. So I love that analogy. Well done.
I like that. You've clearly been on the weight loss roller coaster for quite a while. Was having weight loss surgery something you've considered for a while, or is it just something you saw as a tool that could help you finally get off the roller coaster and start experiencing other rides?
For me, to be able to make the decision to have surgery, it was a really huge decision that had been coming a really long time. And I have been really honest in saying that I was one of those people that bought into the stigma that is around weight loss surgery, that it was cheating, that it wasn't the right way to do it, that it was the easy way out. And when I started my weight loss journey at the start of 2017, the reason I started was because I started having thoughts around, should I just give up and have surgery? And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And it took through making those steps to change my attitude and change my mentality around weight loss, and then being able to connect with so many incredible people in our community like yourselves, to be able to see that surgery is a tool. It's not the easy way out. It is not a magic pill or a magic wand, and it doesn't happen overnight. And so it had taken quite a while to get to the space where I was like, okay, I think I want to have surgery. And even then, it still took another 6 months before I actually spoke to anyone about it. And it was 6 months of me agonizing, secret Googling at night in bed while my husband was asleep next to me, because I was so worried about what people would think if I made this decision. And then I knew that to be able to fully make the decision to have surgery, I needed approval from my best friend, Carly, my mum, and my husband. And I remember the day that I fully came out and said to Carly, I want to have surgery. I've been, researching for a really long time. We emailed back and forth all day at work, and she's like, I am there. I am here to support you. Whatever you want to do, I'm there for you. And it was the long weekend in June. I spoke to my mum on the way home from work, and literally in like 5 minutes, and I was crying. And Dan came out the front. He was like, hurry up, we've got to go, because we were going away. And I was like bawling my eyes out, and he had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm having a moment here. Calm down. And then we get in the car, and I said to him, this is the decision I've made. And he was like, whatever you want to do, this is your life. Like, whatever you want to do, I'm behind you. And so I had those 3 ticks, and I was like, bang on, that's it. I got my private health insurance that week. And then that 12-month wait was the longest yet most important wait of my life, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, that was actually going to be my next question is how did you self-fund or did you go through the private health system? And obviously that 12 months, how did you find that 12 months?
And what did you learn in that 12 months?
Did you feel like you were in limbo?
So I thought initially I thought I could wait out the 12 months. And then about a month in, I got really impatient. And I was like, I want to go destination beauty style. And
Thailand,
then I spoke to my husband about it, and he's like, listen, I don't feel comfortable about that. But if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And I was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with him not feeling comfortable. So I waited out that 12 months, and boy, am I glad that I did. Because it meant that I had the time to work on my mindset. And that was something I worked really, really hard on, not just around trying to get my eating into an ordered way again, but also to be able to work on like mindfulness and calming myself down. And I did have a time of regain between probably September and then April this year. I regained about 10 to 12 kilos. But then it got to April, and I stood on the scales, and I was back up at like 168. And I was like, girl, get your stuff together. You need to sort this out. And then it was like all systems go again. And I was doing lots of yoga and mindfulness, and that I think made me stronger to go into surgery stronger.
Yeah, almost callousing the brain, like getting yourself ready for the big decision you made to, take it 100%.
But you've also been
100%.
very active on Instagram this whole time as well. Like prior to surgery, you've also been documenting your weight loss and everything that you've been trying as well. So like, it's not like people who have been following you since the early days haven't realized what you've been struggling through and everything. Like, did you find you got much kickback from that though, when you went down the road of deciding to have surgery?
I can honestly say I've had one negative message. I count myself really lucky because through all of my time on Instagram, which is nearly 4 years now, I have maybe had a maximum of 10 trolling comments or messages. And I know I'm really lucky in that aspect because I know a lot of my friends in that space aren't lucky like that. But everyone accepted my decision. And I think they had seen that I had tried so many things. In the time that I've had my Instagram, I tried like Weight Watchers and the CSIRO diet. I did Taylor at Cena's. I did steaks, like everything. So they saw that it wasn't like I was just giving up. I was taking the next tool for a long-term success.
Yeah, because I'm scrolling through your Instagram at the moment, and I've gone way back to Weight Watchers days and everything. And you definitely, it's not like you just went, hey, I'm going to just have surgery. Like, you've literally tried everything under the sun. So quite similar to me. Yeah. Like, I literally tried everything. I did the drops that you do for your diet. I went and had hypnotherapy to make me think that I'd had the sleeve done. Like, I had literally tried everything.
Yeah.
That was I will say hypnotherapy was the one thing I haven't done, but it was about the only thing I hadn't done because even when I look back at my life, like when I said I started dieting at 10, I was doing Weight Watchers because my mum was doing Weight Watchers. And I know she won't mind me talking about this because I have spoken about it. I think growing up within diet culture, my mum was also, I suppose, grew up with diet culture. So what she was doing, she was just doing what she thought was going to be the best for me as a bigger than normal child. But yeah, I've done, I remember doing Atkins at about 17. I think I lost about 20 kilos, but I went to boarding school. And so that was in the holidays. And then as soon as I went back to boarding school, all we did was eat carbs and it came back on plus another 15.
Yep.
Yeah. Preach. We hear you.
Yeah. And honestly, the amount of money Weight Watchers has had from me over the years, no wonder Oprah's rich.
Yeah. 100% on that one.
Yeah.
You obviously talked about your partner, Dan, a fair bit. You've been married for like 5 years?
Yeah, it'll be 6 in March.
Yeah. How have you found the process for that partnership?
Post-surgery or just in general?
I guess post-surgery,
Post-surgery?
but let's be honest, probably in general. Yeah.
I don't tend to talk about him a lot on Instagram. He's not big on social media, but he's my rock. He is always strong and steady. And even though he doesn't say a lot, he shows a lot with things that he does. And so, like, heading into surgery, he didn't really show that he was very stressed about it at all. And of course, because of COVID, he had to just drop and run. He couldn't even walk me inside.
That's so sad.
And then he got to see me the day after surgery, and I could tell just how worried he'd been when he came in, and he was like, I want to spend every second. He was allowed to be with me for 2 hours, and then he had to go. But they didn't come and kick him out straight away, and he was like, I'm not leaving till they tell me to leave. And that really, I think it brought it home for me how worried he actually had been, but he's like, I've been holding it in. Yeah. And then since surgery, he's been so supportive in his own way. The first hot day that we had about 2 weeks ago, I hadn't been doing too much, but I was like, I have the worst headache. He goes, you're probably dehydrated, because I'll be honest, I am struggling getting all of my hydration in. And so he went and got me a Hydrolyte Isopol, and he's like, here, have this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I had it, and which was like 15 minutes later, I was like, oh, I feel so much better. He's like, see, I told you so. And I'm like, okay, he's 100% paying attention. Like, even though he's not like your storybook romantic hero. He's that solid rock guy that does pay attention, but he's just pretty quiet.
He sounds like a storybook hero. He bought you Hydrolyte when you were dehydrated. Like, how much better does it get? Like, seriously.
And honestly, like, I saw a few photos today when I was scrolling through Instagram, just kind of understand the whole situation. Is like the way he looks at you, he appreciates you, and like like, we're not always going to have that Romeo and Juliet story, because obviously it's not real. But like, the way he looks at you is literally like, he appreciates who you are as an individual. And I think that's really important, because the more I hear about people, on Facebook and different things being like, my partner doesn't agree with me taking this decision, it's kind of like, yeah, but if the results mean you're happier, shouldn't your partner agree with it? And I think your partner took it exactly the right way. He kind of just said like, I'm
here for you.
I'm here for you. Like, whatever you think's 100%. Best for you.
I actually had someone at work say to me, oh, one of my friends had weight loss surgery, and she got to a really small, or got to a smaller size, and had skin removal surgery. And then her husband was like, oh, I'm really hot. And she left him because she was like, well, you should have thought I was hot beforehand. She goes, I hope that doesn't happen to you. I was like, well, I know it won't happen to me, because for me, Dan was a huge part of my journey to loving my body before I'd even started to want to lose weight to be healthier. Because before I started my weight loss journey, I'd already been on a journey of self-love and body positivity for about 2 to 3 years. But he was the one that kickstarted that. He was the one that showed me that I was allowed to love my body at any size, because he loved my body at any size.
Yeah, you could tell on your wedding day, his smile was from ear to ear. Like, his smile in your wedding photos, ear to ear.
I would have loved to have seen his face. At the beginning of weddings, when everyone looks at the bride, I'm the one person that turns around and looks at the groom, because I would have loved to have seen his face at your wedding day.
No, well, look, I'll throw it out there that I was shaking so hard and he does not like being center of attention, so it was kind of his worst nightmare, except for the fact that he got to marry me. But I got up there and I'm like shaking, and he's like, are you okay? And so I don't think I got that smile from him, but you know, it all worked out in the end. And we had
Yeah, he was
like, "Oh my god, is she okay? Is she about
why
to
is
pass
everyone
out?"
looking at me? Is she okay? Like, what's going on here? This is like a terrifying movie. But at the end of the day, you got the happy ending, so that's all that matters.
Exactly.
You touched before on that you're struggling a little bit with your water at the moment, your hydration, and you did mention to us previously that you used to be quite like me, where you used to drink quite a lot of water prior to surgery.
Glorified fish.
Yeah. I used to drink like 3 or 4 liters a day, and legit at my initial consultation with my surgeon, I was like, so I drink 4 liters a day. Am I going to be able to ever drink water again? And he was like, don't worry, your new norm will become sort of like, 1 to 1.5 liters a day. So talk us through that process, and talk us through like how you coped with pre-op, because you're quite fresh, so you should still remember pre-op like it's still etched in your brain.
Yeah. And look, I'll be honest, one of my main concerns when I was firstly trying to like decide whether I was going to have surgery was whether I was going to be able to drink normally again. Because growing up, it was like you had water or you had nothing else. Yeah. So my whole life it's been you had water or you had nothing else. Whereas now, I used to not get when people said that plain water hurt. I still can't drink plain water. I need to take out shares in diet, right? Because those guys have got me sorted. And so I hope one day I can drink plain water again. But at the moment, it's definitely a struggle. And being someone who was having 3 litres of water to lucky to get a litre and a half, it definitely has been it's been an awakening. But my pre-op was a little bit different than the traditional pre-op. So I didn't do Optifast, and I did 4 weeks of pre-op. I have a really fantastic dietitian. I was like, listen, I already have a whole bunch of protein. Can I please use that and we do something else? And she was like, yep, we can do an 800 calorie diet. You can still have meat. Just make sure that you're like in under that 800 calories. And in the middle of my pre-op, I knew that I was going away on a girls' weekend. And because of COVID, I wanted to be able to have a birthday party and like a pre-surgery, go crazy. Didn't happen. But then we had this little reprieve, and Sarah was having a girls' weekend, and I said to my dietitian, I was like, "Can I please drink?" She's like, "Yep." So with my pre-op being 4 weeks long, I feel like the first 2.5 weeks I did really well. The last week and a half was a real push through.
And that was when you had your hangover from the girls' weekend?
Yeah, well, and really should have eaten more on that girls' weekend. I had a solid 10 hours sleep because I was in bed by 8:30, but,
So you're on a real liquid diet, I
was. But for me, it was really good to be able to, like, break it down and know what I could have within 800 calories that was still going to fuel my body really well. And for me, that was really important to know that I could still have meat, vegetables, and still feel satisfied rather than just having a shake. And I know that's quite different to a lot of other people's experiences, and I'm really thankful to my dietitian who has allowed me to do that, because for me, it worked really well for my mentality and also for my body. Yeah.
I feel like I mean, not to say that the way that they're doing it at the moment is wrong, but like I feel like that is a really good step in getting you prepared for what's to come afterwards. Like, because yes, the first week you're on liquids, but then after that you go to eating less than 800 calories a day because our stomachs just don't handle it. So like I feel like that could almost, not saying change the way that we do things, but that would have been a really good tool for your mental stability on what's to come.
It was actually really fantastic, and it made me look at other options that I could have that would leave me satisfied but were still low calorie.
Yeah.
But still had nutritional value. For me, that was really important.
Because I was going to say, were you a junk food eater? Like, were you a takeout person prior to surgery, or were you sort of like you cooked a lot of meals, but it was just sort of like, once a week you'd go out and splurge, that sort of thing?
Probably a bit of both. So we generally, in normal times, go out for dinner about once a week, and then maybe get takeout once a week, and then I cook the rest of the time. Sometimes it might just be really simple, chicken and veggies or chicken and salad. But I do enjoy cooking. And I think to be able to cook during that time as well was really helpful because I knew that I was still going to have to be cooking. I was going to have to cook for Dan, and I didn't want to be sitting up to a lovely shake and him having a steak. So for me, and I was still working out. Like I worked out all the way up until surgery, and I was actually feeling really, really strong again and feeling really great. And I just know that I wouldn't have been able to sustain that on doing shakes. So yeah.
And we watched you because you used to document all of your fitness on your Instagram. Like I remember watching you do all of your little home workouts and everything. So it's actually quite good to know that the diet that you were having leading into surgery was enough to fuel you too. Because a lot of people have got in this mindset, no, I've got to eat 2,000 calories a day to be able to lift or to be able to do this. But like you were still lifting, you were still doing your workouts at home, and you were still feeling sustained by an 800 calorie diet.
God,
Yeah, well, that's where a lot of surgeons vary though, because like some have like, you know, what we had, like it was ultra slim. No, what was it? It was
Optifast.
That's right. Yeah, and then like some people, like I had meat in mine. It was like unlimited vegetables, a little bit of meat. There's a lot of variables.
It's so different because I had unlimited vegetables and I had to have 3 shakes a day, unlimited vegetables, and I was allowed to have either 1 tin of tuna or 1 egg, and that was it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to skin a cow.
I can't do tuna or egg.
You would have been screwed.
I would not have. People are like, have tuna or a boiled egg. It's a really great snack. And I'm like, I'd rather eat my foot. Like, no, thank you.
So about the surgery day, was there anything that took you by surprise, or did it sort of, I mean, obviously COVID and not being able to have people in the room with you, but like was there anything that you were sort of like not expecting that happened?
Unexpected things.
So my surgery was really late. I didn't have to get to the hospital until 3 o'clock. So I actually got to have breakfast, and which is weird. I had a freezer burnt crumpet. So, you know, last meal of champions.
Delicious.
What did you put on the crumpet though? What did you put on the crumpet?
Honey.
Jam.
No, I think I just had Vegemite.
Yes, Vegemite and butter.
I'll pay it.
Yeah, Vegemite and butter is the OG.
Mm-hmm.
A really busy morning. I coloured my hair, I packed my bag. But when I got there, I expected to wait. And I was there maybe for 10 minutes, and my surgeon came out and she's like, yeah, let's take you in. And I was like, oh, all right then. So from Dan dropping me off at the hospital to me actually going into the pre-surgery waiting room was really only 30 minutes max. Wow. And then I sat on the bed for an hour hearing my nurses and my surgical team and my anaesthetists joking and laughing. My team were a full female team, and they were like actually being able to hear them like joking around and laughing helped me stay calm, but I didn't expect that I would be having to wait in the pre-surgery area for so long.
Yeah.
But I definitely was glad that I'd done so much mindfulness work in the lead up to surgery, because I was just like concentrating on my breathing. I had a song playing in my head, which is very much me. I always have a soundtrack to my life happening. And so the soundtrack to that day was Gold by Spandau Ballet. I don't know if you know it.
No, but we'll have to look it up and put it on here
so
people
just
can hear it.
As long as it wasn't
No. So the lyrics are Gold, always believe in your soul.
Oh, yeah, okay,
You've got the power to know you're indestructible. So like the lyrics, it was like just around and around in my head. It was my little mantra. And whenever I hear it now, I'm like, yes, that was the song that gave me strength on that day. Because I really felt like I was doing it all by myself, because I knew that when I came out of surgery, there wouldn't be anyone there, that it was going to be me. And so I don't really remember the recovery room. I remember waking up being really druggy, like in the ICU, because my surgeon sends us to ICU on the first night. And then it got to about 11 o'clock, and that was when I woke up and felt a bit more normal, and I was able to FaceTime Dan and my parents and Carly, because I knew they'd all be sort of waiting up. But for me, it felt really weird to be so late. Like they said that I didn't get out of surgery until about 6:30 at night. So it was a long day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What time did you go in?
Yeah.
So what time was surgery?
Yeah, I think they said I started about 5.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So I was in the pre-surgery room from, it was about 20 to 4, and then I don't remember anything until about after 20 to 5. So
it's funny because when I was in that little pre-surgery room, I was chatting to my anaesthetist and I found out that he lived over in Europe for quite a long time as well. And so I lived in Europe for quite a long time as well. So we were like chatting and then like he left the room. He was like, oh, I'm just going to put the cannula in your arm, blah, blah, blah. And he left the room and it was dead silent. And then I heard him walk in there and take everybody's coffee order. And I was like, hang on. Are they all going to have a coffee before they do me? Like, you literally just put a needle in my arm and they were like, oh, yeah, I'll have a caramel latte today. I'm feeling a little bit fruity. And I was like, excuse me.
You got to cut me open.
I mean, coffee is a must, but like, come on, can you just like get your stuff together?
Can you guys get your stuff together? And by the way, I'll have a
and that was exactly what I was like, because at the time I wasn't on almond, but in my head I was like, well, if you're gonna have a coffee before you do me, then I would more than happily have a cappuccino, like. And then I heard
down on that one too.
And then I heard the person before me wake up, and they were like rattling up, they were like screaming for this person, being like, Rodney, and the people were like, don't worry, you're in the Budgeon Private Hospital, like, calm down, you've just woken up the theatre. Turns out that Rodney was this lady's like partner from like 10 years ago, and she was just so drugged up that was the first person that they were, it was hilarious. And I was just kind of like, the quicker you give me the drugs, the better, guys. Come on, just knock me out. Get me sorted.
You were definitely very calm going in there then, I'm guessing.
Yeah. And then my doctor, like my surgeon, ended up having to come back in because the anaesthetist came back in and we were chatting for a bit longer. And then Dr. Baxter walked in and he was like, so are you guys finished having your little chin wag, or can I like operate on you now?
Can I cut her open?
And I was like, please just cut me open, get this over with.
Oh, wow. If I had had someone pre before me being like, Rodney, I would have been like, I'm out. Because I was laying in the surgery room being like, I've never had surgery before. This is scaring the hell out of me. Should I just get up and leave? Should I try natural?
They had to like properly calm her down, be like, don't worry, you're in the hospital. Well, where's Rodney? They're like, well, he's not your next of kin, so we don't actually know who Rodney is.
He's probably in Hawaii with Sophia.
It was,
oh my God, I'm dead.
It was hectic. It was very hectic.
I had to laugh because throughout the time that I'd started surgery, like I followed my surgeon on Instagram and I tagged her, but somehow she must have told my surgical team that, and they kept coming in and they'd be like, oh, you're the girl from Instagram. And I was like, oh, please, sorry, that makes me sound ridiculous. And then when I had my gallbladder out, 10 weeks after surgery or whatever it was the same surgical team. And they came back and they're like, we remember you. You probably don't remember us. You're the girl from Instagram. And I was like, okay, it's Sarah. Hi.
Oh, I have a much more embarrassing story. So I had my gallbladder out at the beginning of this year. And when they woke me up from having my gallbladder taken out, my first words were like, no, put me back under. I was writing a really good post. And they were like, what? Oh, my God. And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, what were you talking about, an Instagram post? And I was like, no, I was, I'm that.
No, I was planing down a post in a panic. I wasn't writing an Instagram post. That's weird.
It was so embarrassing because like they kind of like took the mickey out of me for so long. And then I finally came to and they were like, what were you talking about? And I was like, nothing. It's all good. Don't know what you're talking about.
That's not embarrassing at all. So Sarah, you seem to have taken this process in your stride. Why do you feel this is? Like, what is it that made you take it the way you have?
I think for me, I had tried everything else and nothing stuck. And I know that I know that I wasn't supposed to be at 180 kilos. That's not my life. That wasn't where my life was headed. And I tried everything else. And when I decided to have surgery, and I think I said this to my mum, I said, I just think I must be one of those people that needs this tool to be able to change their life and change their health and make this happen. Because I know that there is a small body under here somewhere. And I'm not saying that I ever want to be a size 10. For me, it's like a small body would be a 16, because when I remember being like my most stable was probably at 17, 18, I was a 14 to a 16. And that's where I'd love to get back to, and just feeling strong and healthy. And for me, it's about being able to have a family, because at the weight that I was at and even the weight that I've been at in the last couple of years, that wasn't happening. And, you know, that has to be a contributing factor. So for me, I knew that to be able to start that path of actually having children, that I would have to make a decision that would change my life forever, that wouldn't just change it for 6 months and then I fall off the wagon again, you know?
I definitely feel that. Do you feel like there's no regret at all at the moment for you?
Zero. I have not had a minute of I have not had a second of regret. I know that this was the best decision that I've ever made. And even I know I talk a lot about mindset, but for me personally, before I made the decision to have surgery, I going back to talking about having children, I was in that space of trying to have kids, and I had been for quite a while, and it was mentally affecting me really negatively.
Yep.
Because, you know, that 34-day wait and then negative, it was a cycle that was happening month after month. And you can't have that letdown in life consistently. It just makes it so hard. And so to be able to put that journey on a shelf, and it's one that I haven't really spoken about too much on Instagram because I found it really difficult to speak about.
Yeah.
To be able to put that trying to conceive journey on a shelf and know that it was there to pick up later on, and then pick up my surgery journey, has been so centering to me. And I can talk about it now without crying. Before, I would have been an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say now that I am still nowhere near it being ready to try have kids again, which, you know, I'm only nearly 5 months post-op, so it would be crazy if I did. But it's just, it has been able to, send me in a way that I didn't think that was possible.
It's because you feel like the wheels are in motion and you're pushing in the right direction to make it a possibility, and you're giving it the best chance possible to make it happen.
And that's also why I'm very much open about everything that's happening with me at the moment, because prior to surgery, I had my polycystic ovaries, and now I'm also having other issues with my whole reproductive system. But that's the whole thing. I used to close down and I wouldn't talk to anybody about it, and I would just go through the motions. But I feel as much as it's helping other people to know what I'm going through, it's also helping me just as much, just being able to talk to essentially an empty camera and tell people what I'm going through, because the amount of people who I've connected with through what's happening with me at the moment is just, it's so overwhelming. And it's so there's so many people going through not necessarily exactly the same thing that I'm going through, but everybody has, there's quite a lot of people that have gone through similar to what I have. So I think it's such an important thing that when you're ready to share what you've gone through.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely agree. And I think that now I'm also really proud of myself to be able to talk about it in such a calm way, because for me, having children, I know that I was put on this earth to be a mother. I've known that my whole life. And I was starting to really feel, I had a bit of an existential crisis turning 31, which was just before I decided to have surgery. But I was I have friends that are on their second baby, and I'm nowhere even near my first, and with no foreseeable issues other than the fact that I was morbidly obese. So, and I knew that was something that I could change, but it was not changing fast enough for me. And it was a battle, pushing a boulder up a hill, up a mountain, because you might be moving, millimeter by millimeter, but I was needing to be moving kilometers.
Yeah.
So being able to use the tool of surgery and being able to have consistent help there means that I am able to push that boulder up that hill a lot quicker than I was beforehand.
Yeah, it got a lot more forward momentum.
It's hard too though, because I'm the complete opposite to you. I don't know if I even want to have kids. It's not really been a prospect of mine, but I've been put in the position now to say that you have to decide right now if that's what your future foresees. And I was just I have friends much like you. Massive.
Yeah, but we like to be control of our own life too. We like to have control and be have options of where we want to go forward, and then for someone to be no, this is what you're doing.
And I need to clarify too, because I haven't been told that I cannot have kids. That was not what was said to me. But
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Or I was told it's going to
Yeah.
be extremely difficult. And I now, at the age of 32, being single, I need to decide whether or not I want to have kids. And that's such a friggin' hard decision to make when you're not at that
hard.
crossroad. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Yeah.
it's you know, if you want to have kids and you can't have kids, and if you don't want to have kids but you've got the option taken away from you, like they're both just as hard to deal with. Like it's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
Makes life hard, doesn't it? Well, Sarah, you are a phenomenal human. We would love, if you're open to it, to have you back on 3 to 6 months' time to check back in with you and make this into kind of like a blow by blow situation where we get to
Where are they now?
Where are they now? Situation. Are you
I
open
would
to it?
absolutely love to do that on one proviso,
Yep.
that I don't have to jump out of a plane with you because, mate.
What about
you
do
are
a half Ironman? Will
No.
you do a half Ironman?
I feel like that.
I would be more likely to do a half Ironman than I would
No.
to jump out
Well,
of
that-
a plane because I can barely jump off a chair.
Well, that's why I want to be able to like take people out with me, because it's going to be like, you want to come Barry Banter? You got to get strapped to me first, then we're going to jump out of a plane, because then we're going to really see how much you appreciate life.
No, look, it seems to be me
Yeah.
that's the one that seems to make
Oh,
these
mate.
stupid. Whatever, I'm
I
doing a
don't even
half
know.
Ironman. I'm going bareback horse riding with people.
yeah,
like, I'm
going to the moon.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Like, I seem to make stupid promises on this show, but no, you don't need to
Yeah.
make any promise except the fact that you'll come back in sort of 3-ish months and chat to us again.
100%. Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah, perfect.
But I will let you take me on the roller coasters at Movie World, okay? That is going to
Oh,
Oh, can we actually? Okay, done. We're going to do that.
No, 100%. And
that'd be amazing.
because that is one passion that Dan and I have. He has, and I just lean into it because, we love theme parks. So I cannot wait to be able to come back up to Queensland and actually fit my bum into things because,
Well, let us know
Last
when you're
time I
coming
was
up
there-
because we'll be there.
yeah, last time I was there, I've got bruises
Is that
from
tight?
the one at SeaWorld.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like, just shove me in.
Well, speaking of like 3 to 6 months from now, let's ask you the question and look into the future, which we will touch back in the future. In 3 to 6 months, what do you hope to have achieved?
So 3 months puts me at January, right? I would love to be a size down in clothes. I have doll activewear, which is random, but, I'm a bit of an addict. So I would love to be wearing that. And in 6 months, I would love to be under the 100 kilo mark, or close to. I'm just about 133 at the moment. And the way that I've tracked in the last 6 months, if I track the same, it's achievable. But more than that, I would just love to be feeling strong in my body again. I've really struggled with my lack of fitness, and I actually signed up to a new gym tonight, and I have my first booking tomorrow afternoon, and I'm so super, super excited about it. But even getting back into exercise post-surgery, seeing as I've had the 2 surgeries in the last 18 weeks or whatever it is, it definitely has been really difficult having my body not feel as fit or as strong as it was, and also being able to fuel my body to be able to even do exercise without getting dizzy or feeling like I am going to, pass out. So I just want to feel like I'm strong and balanced and able to be absolutely killing my bariatric journey, because I'm still learning my body. This is a whole new relationship. And sometimes I feel like, it's been ages, but then I'm also like, I'm a baby bariatric. It has been so
A baby
short of time.
bariatric. That's so
It's
cute.
kind of cute. Yeah. At the end of the day, the biggest thing, the expression I use all the time is marathon, not a sprint. Don't expect it's going to happen
I use that
tomorrow.
all the time too.
Yeah, you need to look well into the future and be prepared to put in the hard yards to get where you want to go. Because this isn't a diet. This is a lifestyle choice. This is you making a decision that is going to
Impact
you where
the
you wanna
rest
go.
of your life. Yep.
Forever.
ever.
And in a really great way.
Yeah.
Like,
All right,
this
quickly,
is actually life-changing.
before we leave, 3 micro super, don't think about the questions, just answer them if you're willing to answer. Out of the liquid, puree and soft phase, what was the hardest?
Liquid.
Liquids. How much do you weigh right now?
133.7.
And 0.7.
I'm all at the point.
And what dress size are you?
20 to 22.
Perfect.
I'm 20 in the bust, but, my hips have taken a little while.
No, the only reason why I ask you that is so that when we get you back in 3 to 6 months' time, we can reflect on that and we know exactly where you were, exactly where you wanted to be, and we can just go from there. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And I say this all the time, you are a breath of fresh air and a little ray of sunshine. Like, I absolutely love following your journey, even prior to surgery. And now,
she has a vibe.
like, Shannon said it earlier, like, your smile is just getting bigger and your eyes are just getting brighter. Like, I absolutely love everything about you. So, like, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And it's been a pleasure having you on Barry Banter.
Yeah, honestly, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you haven't checked out Sarah, make sure you do head across, check her out, because she's a vibe. That is another episode anyway, guys, of Barry Banter. Well, yes, that is another episode of Barry Banter in the books. We hope you got a little something from that one.
Head on over to Facebook or Instagram and check us out, or go to BARIBANTER.com where you can watch past episodes, give us feedback, and let us know who you want to hear from next.
We love you all, and as always, please stay beautiful.